Chapter 41 Battle on the Rooftop. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Standing behind the first and second generations of the impure world reincarnation, Orochimaru looked both puzzled and excited. The puzzlement was that he summoned the second generation of Hokage with the impure world reincarnation, which meant that the one in front of him was a fake. But he also judged from some of the words of the fake and some of the actions of the third generation of Hokage that this person was not a fake but the real one. This situation of both yes and no made Orochimaru very excited, and he couldn't wait to get the answer to this question. So, when the first and second generations of the impure world reincarnation had lost consciousness, he immediately controlled the two impure world reincarnations to launch an attack. In his opinion, 3 against 2, the advantage is mine. Even if the opponent is the real second generation of Hokage, he is not at all inferior. Well, this is the sin of the third generation of Hokage, who told him to brag about being the strongest Hokage in order to maintain his rule after the death of the second generation. It was obvious that Orochimaru was the victim that the third Hokage boasted about. Monkey, you go deal with Orochimaru. Teacher, you. Don't tell me that you are so old that you can't even deal with your own students. Then be careful, teacher. Facing the attack of the impure world duo, Senju Tobirama didn't take it seriously at all. He even had time to ask the third Hokage to deal with Orochimaru. Fire style, fire dragon flame bomb. The third Hokage listened to Senju Tobirama's words, dodged the attack of the impure world duo, and fired a powerful fire style at Orochimaru. At this time, Orochimaru had just consumed a large wave of chakra and was slowly recovering. Facing the third Hokage's fire dragon flame bomb, he did not use ninjutsu to defend, but used snake skin to avoid it. Seeing that the long-range attack had no effect and wasted his chakra, the third Hokage simply made hand seals to summon the monkey demon. Monkey, what's going on? The summoned monkey demon observed the surroundings vigilantly. It would have been fine if it hadn't seen it, but it was immediately frightened when it saw it. The two second-generation Hokage were fighting each other with water escape technique, and during the fight, the first-generation Hokage was helping. Such a magical scene is really hard to believe unless you see it with your own eyes. Did Orochimaru do it? I told you not to let him go at the beginning, and now it's all right. There's trouble. The third-generation Hokage ignored the chatter of the demon, but said seriously, "Old man, turn into a golden hoop stick." Okay, but the demon listened to the third-generation Hokage very much. He asked him to transform, so he transformed. Seeing the third-generation Hokage took out a big stick, Orochimaru did not hesitate to spit out a big sword from his mouth. Orochimaru, come and die. Hehe, it's not certain who will die. After that, the two of them fought together as if no one was there. Otherwise, a teacher is a teacher. Without the disturbance of the impure world duo in the original drama, the third Hokage used the fact that the golden cudgel could be transformed as he wished to suppress Orochimaru severely. He could hit the opponent with a stick from time to time. Unfortunately, Orochimaru could still withstand this level of attack. Instead, after a series of ping-pongs, the monkey demon was the first to be unable to bear it. Monkey, be careful, don't always let me fight against the Kusanagi sword. My body is not as hard as that sword. Okay, I will pay attention. That being said, Orochimaru is not a lazy person. When suppressed by the third Hokage, he used the characteristics of the Kusanagi sword that was both solid and sharp to make the golden cudgel transformed by the monkey demon scream. He understood that as long as the problem of the golden cudgel was solved, he could gain the upper hand in this physical duel and even kill the third Hokage. Here, the physical duel between the third Hokage and Orochimaru was very exciting. Over there, the battle between Senju Tobirama and the first and second generations of the impure world reincarnation clan was also very lively. Yes, it was lively. The Senju clan had much more chakra than the average person. Among them, the one with the most chakra was undoubtedly Senju Hashirama. However, as Hashirama's younger brother, Tobirama also had an outrageous amount of chakra, so his water escape technique could be performed in places without water, and it was particularly powerful. Although the strength of the first and second generations resurrected by the impure world reincarnation was greatly weakened, they also had an advantage, that is, unlimited chakra. On one side, the amount of chakra was huge, on the other side, the amount of chakra was unlimited. it can be imagined that when these two sides fought, the ninjutsu was thrown out like it was free. When the impure world reincarnation clan used a wood escape technique, the birth of the tree world, and summoned a large number of trees, Senju Tobirama immediately used a water escape technique, the water breaking wave. When the high-pressure water gun met the crazy growing trees, the result was already doomed. Obviously, a weakened version of the tree world advent could not stop the high-pressure water gun. Water style, water break wave. Seeing that Senju Tobirama's water style suppressed wood style, the Edo Tensei Tobirama was unhappy, even though he had lost his own consciousness. When he saw others using water style ninjutsu, he subconsciously used the same ninjutsu. There was no other intention, just to see who had more power with the same water style ninjutsu. Humph, you overestimate your own abilities. Senju Tobirama snorted coldly, then he cancelled the use of water break wave and used the flying thunder god technique instead. In the blink of an eye, he came to the back of the Edo Tensei's second generation through the coordinates he had set during the battle. Water release, hard vortex water blade. Immediately, Tobirama's right hand quickly formed a water javelin condensed with water attribute chakra, and threw it directly towards the second generation of dirt. Didn't the unconscious idiot consider that I would use the flying thunder god? That's right. If you don't have consciousness, you won't be able to think. Amidst the complaints from Qianshou Tabijian, the second generation of the dirty soil did not have time to get out of the way, and was successfully hit by the water javelin, and his entire upper body was blown to pieces. If a normal person were shot like this, even the immortal of 6 paths would not be able to save him. However, it was the dirty earth body that was hit. As Hashirama came to entangle Senju Tobirama, the second generation of Hushir was also slowly recovering. This is a characteristic brought about by the reincarnation of the dirty land. Unless there is a sealing class to cooperate with him, even Senju Tobirama, the creator of this technique, cannot stop it. If you can't stop it, then you can't stop it. Anyway, the first and second generations of the dirty soil are not a threat to Senju Tobirama. Based on the amount of chakra he had, he could play with the opponent all day long, and with the existence of the flying thunder god technique, he can leave the scene with the third Hokage at any time. The reason why he didn't do this was because he wanted to hand over the decision-making power of this battle to the third Hokage. When you are an old disciple, you are still a disciple. Through the light screen, Senju Tobirama knew that he, an elderly disciple, had always been worried about letting Orochimaru go. As long as the third Hokage can defeat Orochimaru here, not only can he feel relieved, but he can also end this war and become a hero of Konoha again. After that, Tobirama will allow him to abdicate honorably and live in retirement. It is time for the village in this time and space to welcome the next Hokage. Chapter 42 Uchiha Mirror Advanced Mangekyō Sharingan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The Sound Ninja and the Sand Ninja launched an all-out attack on Konoha, which was bound to drag Konoha into the quagmire of war. Facing the invasion of foreign enemies, Konoha ninjas behaved very organized and disciplined. Genin and Chunin are responsible for guiding civilians to escape. Jonin and Anbu were responsible for going to meet the enemy, performing their respective duties. The Konoha ninjas were just a little uncomfortable in the early stages. After a while, when they got used to it, neither the Sound Ninja nor the Sand Ninja had any advantage. If nothing unexpected happens, it won't be long before they can end this inexplicable war. Just accidents happen. The Sand Ninja began to fight for their lives and launched a fierce attack on the Konoha Ninja. The reason why they do this is simple. Many Suna ninja saw that the one fighting the third Hokage on the roof of the venue was not their Kazekage at all, but Orochimaru, the rebel ninja of Konoha. At this moment, a very terrifying thought suddenly appeared in their hearts. That is, the fourth Kazekage might have encountered something unexpected. Otherwise, it would be impossible to explain why the good fourth Kazekage suddenly turned into Orochimaru. The current situation is very bad, with the Kazekage possibly belching and offending the Leaf Village. How can they and Sunagakure be okay in the future? For their own village, these Sand Ninjas did not stop fighting, but became more and more fierce. Their thinking is very simple. They have offended Konoha anyway, so they might as well take this opportunity to severely damage Konoha and win more benefits for Sunagakure village. Under the desperate tactics of these Sand Ninjas, some local battlefields were really maintained by them. Outside the village, the sound ninja who was responsible for channeling the boa constrictors saw that the battle situation had begun to reach a stalemate, so they began to channel several boa constrictors out to attack. These big pythons are actually not very powerful, but they are really big and can damage a large area of houses just by wandering around. At the same time, facing the joint attack of psychic beasts and sound ninjas, the gatekeepers at the gate of Konoha struggled to cope. They tried their best to prevent these big pythons from entering the village. Once the entrance of the village is breached and a big python is released, the loss to the village will be too great. Ninja technique, psychic technique, the technique of crushing the vendor. Fortunately, Jiraiya arrived in time, channeled the spirit out of Tomohiro, and killed a three-headed snake in one fell swoop. You go to support other places, leave this to me. Yes, Lord Jiraiya. In front of Tagagwang, these giant pythons were simply not enough to see. It waved its two swords and cut these giant pythons into several pieces in 3 strokes. It was easier on Jiraiya's side. Oto Ninja Village is a ninja village established by Orochimaru after he defected to Konoha. A mere dozen years of development time is not enough for any master to be born within the Sound Ninja Village. Among the 5 most famous Sound Ninjas, only one Kimimaro can fight. Moreover, this guy was tricked by Orochimaru from Kirigakure village. It can be said that except for Orochimaru, there is no one in the entire Sound Ninja village who can fight Jiraiya. Even if Kimimaro uses Crystal Release Red Lotus, it won't work. Facing these scummy Sound Ninjas, Jiraiya didn't hold back. First he used Earth Release, Yellow Spring Numa to restrict his movement, then there was a Fire Escape, Flame Bomb, which burned all the immobile dregs trapped in the swamp. After finishing everything, Jiraiya turned to look at the Chunin examination venue and murmured slightly worriedly, "Old man, please be sure nothing happens to you." After saying this, Jiraiya released Tomohiro's channeling and prepared to rush towards the 3rd Hokage. "Huh? Are you Jiraiya?" Before he had run a few steps, Jiraiya heard someone calling him. Turning his head, when he saw the appearance of the person who called him, his mouth opened wide and his eyes widened. "Old man. Why have you become younger?" Yes, what he saw was Sarutobi Hiruzen who had traveled through time. "Ha, it's really you, Jiraiya. I thought I had recognized the wrong person." Sarutobi Hiruzen did not answer Jiraiya's question, but came to him and looked at him carefully. "Old man, what do you want to do?" Sarutobi Hiruzen's inspection made Jiraiya's skin crawl and he became wary at the same time. Logically speaking, the 3rd Hokage is already 69 years old, and it is impossible to become younger under normal circumstances, or, this person is someone else pretending to be someone who wants to kill him while he is relaxing, or he just saw a ghost. Compared to seeing a ghost, he was still more inclined to believe that this person was pretending. Didn't you hear what this man just said, that he almost recognized himself by mistake? Relax, I'm not pretending, it's just that it's a little complicated to explain. Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't mind seeing Jiraiya's vigilant look, but instead greeted him. "I see you are going to the Chunin examination venue, so let's go together. It will be easier to explain when we get there." Jiraiya agreed to Sarutobi Hiruzen's proposal. However, while he was on the road, he still opened his mouth to test while being vigilant. Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't tolerate him this time. When faced with the temptation, he just smiled and didn't say much. Anyway, if he confesses his origins now, he will probably be treated as an idiot by Jiraiya. It would be better to go to the rooftop of the venue and let the 3rd Hokage explain it to him in person. The battle in Konoha village was in full swing, and Uchiha Kagami's side was also furious. He learned from others that the Uchiha clan no longer existed in Konoha village. Such a big family was wiped out overnight by a young man named Uchiha Itachi. Standing in the dilapidated clan land, Uchiha Mirror thought a lot. He thought of Uchiha Itachi, then thought of the 3rd Hokage letting Itachi become a spy on the light screen, and then thought of Uchiha Fugaku's desire to rebel. Then things are clear. The fact that the family was wiped out must have something to do with the 3rd Hokage. Even if Uchiha Itachi has the Mangekyō Sharingan, there are so many elite Jounin in the entire Uchiha who are not vegetarians. Furthermore, if you can't beat him, why can't he run away? He ran to the village to find support. How could a pair of kaleidoscopes defeat the entire Konoha village? Uchiha Mirror's logic is very clear. When Itachi attacked the family, not only did the village not come forward to support him, but he also continued to do evil things. Only with the cooperation of the village, Itachi, the traitor, could destroy the entire family overnight and without anyone noticing. After killing so many clan members, why did you leave only Uchiha Sasuke? Your brother's life is life, but the lives of other people in the clan are not, right? Ha 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 ha. Uchiha Mirror laughed crazily, and at the same time, the three Magatama in his eyes kept spinning. When the laughter disappeared, the three Magatama also stopped rotating and merged into a pattern similar to shurikens. Uchiha Mirror also has his own Mangekyō Sharingan. Suna Ninja and Sound Ninja. Looking towards the center of the village, Uchiha Kage sneered and started to move forward. He was very angry at this time. He wants to kill someone. Chapter 43 Powerful Kaleidoscope by Technique, Tamamo. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Uchiha Kagami, who looked calm but was actually furious, began to walk towards the center of the village. By chance, at a corner, he spotted a few lonely Sound Ninjas. There's someone here, quickly, kill him. Come on, all ninjas in Konoha should die. Before Uchiha Mirror could take action, these Sound Ninjas took the lead in charging at him. Jing sneered and quickly formed seals with his hands. Art Fire Escape Ho Fireball. A huge fireball erupted from Kage's mouth and attacked the Sound Ninja. These Sound Ninjas seemed to have some strength. Facing Q's fireball, one of them used Earth Release, Earth Flow Wall to defend against it. As for why they don't use water to escape. Of course, it is because they are not strong enough and cannot use it in places where there is no water. It seems that you are not just simple soldiers. House Fireball didn't make any achievements, and Kage didn't continue to attack. He wanted to torture and kill these Sound Ninjas in order to vent his anger. Silently turning on the kaleidoscope, Uchiha Kagami used his exclusive pupil technique, Tamamo, on a tall Sound Ninja. Oops, it looks like he's from the Uchiha clan opposite. He has the Sharingan. Fart, the Uchiha clan has been exterminated. The entire family only has the murderer Uchiha Itachi and an orphan named Uchiha Sasuke. There are only 2 people in total. The person opposite cannot be Uchiha Sasuke at first glance, so he not from the Uchiha clan. What about his Sharingan? You are stupid. Do you think his Sharingan is a Sharingan? Uchiha's Sharingan is divided into 1 Magatama, 2 Magatama and 3 Magatama. Do you think the pattern of his eyes looks like a Magatama? You say it looks like a shuriken. Pretty much. When Uchiha Kage heard this, he raised his eyebrows and felt that this man still had some knowledge, but not much. Is it possible that he is wearing colored contact lenses? Mouse contact lenses. The person who spoke hit the other person angrily, and quickly urged, "Get rid of him quickly, we have to go to other places to continue the destruction." Okay. Just when these Sound Ninja were about to attack Uchiha Mirror again, the tall Sound Ninja took the lead, not to the Uchiha Mirror, but to these Sound Ninjas. Ah sure too, what are you doing? Stop, are you crazy? Asshole, I must tell Lord Orochimaru that you actually betrayed us. The stone's attack comes as a surprise. These people never thought that a traitor would appear among them. Without the slightest precaution, Shirtu killed 3 people one after another with only a kunai. The remaining 2 people also suffered some injuries, but it did not affect their actions. Mukuro, what should I do? What else can we do? Retreat. Seeing that these 2 people were about to escape, Jing, who had been watching the show, took action. He did not use ninjutsu, but dodged in front of the 2 people who were trying to escape, and slashed the necks of the 2 people with the kunai in his hand. The speed of the mirror was so fast that the 2 Sound Ninjas could not react at all. When they reacted, one of them had successfully cut his throat. Rokuro, hurry up. This man hugged Jing tightly to prevent him from killing Rokuro. Rokuro was also very obedient and started running out without looking back, looking at the Sound Ninja who was already dead but still wanted to hug him and let his companions escape. Jing said with a little regret, "It's a pity that the person you want to protect will inevitably die in the end." After saying that, Kaoru calmly placed the Sound Ninja on the ground, took out some shuriken kunai from the ninja tool bag, and threw them towards Mukuro's back without any aim. There was a sound of cracking in the air behind him, and Rokuro knew that the attack was coming. While running forward, he dodged left and right, trying to avoid this attack. It's just that what he did was completely useless. Learn about the Uchiha throwing technique. Amidst the clanging sound of collision, kunai and shuriken left their original attack route and attacked Rokuro's back. Well, this time Rokuro had no time to dodge, and was shot into a sieve by kunai and shuriken. Who are you? At this time, Rokuro was not dead yet. He turned his head with difficulty and looked at the person who was approaching to kill him. Can you let me die in a clear way? My name is Uchiha Kagami. It turns out you are really from the Uchiha clan. After saying this, Rokuro's eyes dimmed. Kage, I can no longer be a sound ninja. The last sound ninja is the tall ninja named Stone. He came to Jing with a smile on his face and put his right hand on his shoulder, looking like he had known Jing for many years. Just think of it as a failure. It's such a big deal. Hearing this, Shirtu asked happily, you mean I can join Konoha and become a Konoha ninja? Jing shook his head and replied, that's not what I meant. Sure looked at the mirror in confusion, then you are. I mean you can go die. Having said that, he raised the knife with his hand and fell, and the stone was successfully cut by the Uchiha mirror. Why? Because dead people don't have to be ninjas. Shirtu, is that what I want to ask? I obviously want to ask you why you killed me, damn. Looking at Shita's body, Jing shook his head and murmured, the eye technique of Tamamo seems to be quite useful. That's right, the reason Shirtu attacked his fellow sound ninja was because he was hit by the Uchiha mirror's Kaleidoscope eye technique, Tamamo. Twist the other person's will, make the man become my good friend, and make the woman fall madly in love with me. This pupil technique is really evil. But that's right. After all, I'm a member of the Uchiha clan, so it's only right that my eye skills should be evil. After using the pupil technique once, Keiru's impression of Tamamo's move became much deeper. He knew that there was actually some luck involved in making the stone rebel against the opponent. If these people have a deep relationship with Sure, then even if Jing wants him to betray them, it is impossible. Both parties are good friends, and it cannot be justified to help anyone. At most, they will not help each other. At that time, Shirtu took action without hesitation. It was obvious that his relationship with these people was not good, and he might even have a grudge. As for why Jing killed Shirtu in the end, it was because Jing didn't need him as a friend. The two have a hostile relationship, so if they kill, they will kill. But no matter what, Tamamo's eye technique is really strong. It means that after using it once, you need to wait a month before you can use it again. Covering his swollen left eye, Jing took a deep breath and left with a steady pace. It wasn't until a while later that Konoha Anbu ninjas came here and began to wash the ground and collect the corpses. The reading is going down like crazy, and my mentality is a bit broken. Ladies and gentlemen, can you give me some recommendation votes to comfort me? Chapter 44 Pit. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After passing numerous obstacles, Hiruzen Sarutobi and Jiraiya finally arrived at the roof of the viewing platform. This is. Seeing the two second-generation Hokage inside the four purple flame formation, even Jiraiya couldn't help but widen his eyes. Can you explain it to me carefully now? Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded and was about to explain to Jiraiya, but he turned around and saw three Anbu ninjas not far away, standing in front of the four purple flame formation and saying something. The actions of the three aroused his curiosity. He wanted to know what the ninjas of Konoha were talking about when they gathered together sneakily instead of protecting civilians and annihilating incoming enemies. He waved his hand to signal Jiraiya to stop talking, but he quietly came behind the three Anbu and eavesdropped on their conversation. Sandaime-sama is indeed the strongest Hokage. He suppressed Orochimaru, an S-class rebellious ninja, throughout the whole process. Hearing this, one of the three Anbu wearing a white cat mask couldn't help but reply, what do you think the Sandaime-sama said? He faced the attacks of the first and second generations alone, and he seemed to be able to do so with ease. Like this, I'm afraid the Sandaime-sama's strength is not comparable to that. Perhaps because he didn't expect anyone to contradict him, the Anbu wearing a black cat mask said in a bad tone, the first and second generations summoned by Orochimaru were obviously greatly weakened in strength. If the weakened first and second generation can't deal with it, who is the strongest Hokage? Isn't that right? Didn't Naruto-sama beat the opponent to pieces many times? If it weren't for Orochimaru's forbidden technique, the opponent would have been completely killed by Naruto-sama. The ANBU in the black cat mask was stunned when he heard this. It seemed that he also felt that the second generation Hokage over there was stronger than the third generation Hokage who suppressed Orochimaru. But he was rebutted by the white cat mask on the spot. He, the black cat, doesn't want to lose face, right? I don't care, the third Hokage is the strongest. This tone was somewhat irritating. Hiruzen Sarutobi, who was eavesdropping behind them, was speechless. He thought the three of them were discussing how to rescue the Sandaime, but unexpectedly they were just chatting and gossiping. Ahem. Sarutobi Hiruzen felt that he could no longer let these three people paddle. Even if he is a little greedy because he is too weak, he can still escort and protect civilians. What's going on here? Just talking and talking openly. Who are you? Hearing Sarutobi Hiruzen's cough, the three of them immediately stopped talking. When they turned around, those who should have a knife took a knife, and those who should have a kunai took a kunai. You don't have to know who I am, you just need to know who he is. After saying that, Sarutobi Hiruzen pointed at Jiraiya not far away. On Jiraiya's side, he heard Hiruzen calling him and walked over. Jiraiya-sama. They didn't know the young man in front of them, but they still knew Jiraiya, one of the Sannin. Seeing Jiraiya coming, the three of them quickly saluted. You three can go elsewhere, leave this place to me. Well. Among the three Umbu, the only ninja wearing a dog head mask seemed hesitant. However, the two cat-masked ANBU pulled him, turned around and replied to Jiraiya, Yes, Lord Jiraiya. The three Umbu left, and Sarutobi Hiruzen no longer had any worries. He whispered in Jiraiya's ear and told him and the Senju Tobirama who was fighting inside. What, you said you were from 40 years ago? If you want more people to know, you can yell louder. Why did Sarutobi Hiruzen hint to Jiraiya to let the three Umbu leave? Wasn't it just because he didn't want more people to know their origins? Just when Jiraiya shouted so loudly, among other things, the female sound ninja closest to them must have heard it. Sarutobi Hiruzen asked loudly towards the female sound ninja who was not far from them. Hey, did you hear what this idiot was saying just now? The female sound ninja, Taiyuya, tilted her head and replied, No. If not, why are you feeling guilty? I have no guilty conscience. Why are you turning your head if you don't feel guilty? Look at me. No, you're too ugly. Sarutobi Hiruzen. Taiyuya's sharp words were like a sledgehammer, hitting Hiruzen Sarutobi in the heart. Even though Sarutobi Hiruzen has grown so big, no one has ever dared to call him ugly. Very good woman, you successfully caught my attention. With a crooked smile, Sarutobi Hiruzen began to look at Taiyuya carefully. Don't be too busy looking at women. You haven't made it clear to me yet. Jiraiya is worthy of being an LSP who is in the same line as the third Hokage. When he saw Sarutobi Hiruzen's appearance, he knew that this guy's current thoughts must be impure. Sarutobi Hiruzen pretended to cough slightly with embarrassment, then his expression changed and he asked seriously, Ahem. Where did we talk just now? Now I kind of believe that you are really my teacher. This shameless look is exactly the same. Jiraiya covered his face and couldn't bear to look at it. Traitor, don't think that you can be so arrogant now that you are older than me and stronger than me. Hee, I can't help it. You can be so arrogant if you have strength. Jiraiya, don't force me. Ha, so what if I force you? You are no match for me now. Even if I can't fight you, won't I still be able to run away? Sarutobi Hiruzen was furious when he heard this. He turned to Senju Tobirama in the four purple flame formation and shouted loudly, Teacher, your disciple is bullying me. I'll wipe it. Jiraiya didn't expect that the younger version of the teacher in front of him would actually complain, and he still complained to the second generation, You are really old, you can see all kinds of scenes. Short name, see you soon. Hearing Sarutobi Hiruzen's call, Senju Tobirama, who was fighting the first and second generation of the dirt, came outside the four purple flame formation with a swished sound. "What's wrong?" Naidame-sama, how did you come out of it?" Jiraiya looked at Senju Tobirama walking towards them, feeling a little guilty. "It's simple, because before I went in, I left the coordinates of Flying Thunder God outside." After replying to Jiraiya, Senju Tobirama looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen and asked, "If you have anything to do, please tell me quickly. If I don't go in as soon as possible, I'm afraid this old monkey will be surrounded and beaten to death by 3 people. Well. Seeing that Senju Tobirama was really called out by him, Sarutobi Hiruzen became embarrassed. "We are all adults, not elementary school students, and we are suing the teacher. Lord Naidame, you should hurry in and help Sandame." In just a short while, he was already beaten and vomited blood by the first dame. Following Jiraiya's words, Senju Tobirama and Sarutobi Hiruzen turned to look at the place where the third Hokage was fighting. At this time, the third generation of Hokage, just as Jiraiya said, was besieged by the first generation, the second generation and Orochimaru. Because he was concentrating on beating Orochimaru, he didn't even notice that Senju Tobirama had run outside the four purple flame formation. Without a target to attack, the first and second generation Hokage rushed towards the third Hokage at full speed without any hesitation, catching him off guard. "What's the situation?" Being knocked away by the first generation's old punch, the third Hokage was stunned at the moment, until he was dodging the attack and saw Senju Tobirama chatting with Jiraiya and the younger version of himself outside. Only then did he realize that he had been betrayed by teacher Tobirama. From ancient times to the present, only disciples have betrayed their teachers, and no teacher has betrayed his disciples. "I'm afraid it wasn't because of Jiraiya's cheating that Tobirama-sensei went out, right?" "Jiraiya, teacher, you are really good at judging people. This time travel journey will end tomorrow." Dear ladies and gentlemen in the audience, I don't expect any more rewards, just some free recommendation tickets. Chapter 45. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When Senju Tobirama once again used the Flying Thunder God technique to enter the four purple flame formation, it meant that the master-disciple battle between the third generation and Orochimaru was over. Bagua sealed changed. After entering the arena, Senju Tobirama shot an improved sealing technique towards Orochimaru's belly without saying a word. This sealing technique was specially improved by him based on the characteristics of the Dirty Earth's reincarnation, in order to cut off the connection between the caster and the Dirty Earth body and allow the soul of the Dirty Earth body to return to the underworld. "Monkey, I'm causing trouble for you. Who are you?" The moment the contact was cut off, the consciousness of the first and second generations of Dirty Soil also recovered. Seeing the third Hokage, who had a bruised nose and swollen face, and was breathing heavily, the first generation of Dirty Earth felt very sorry. On the contrary, the second generation of the Dirty Soil did not care much about the third generation, but looked solemnly at Senju Tobirama. "Just think of me as your half-brother." Obviously, Senju Tobirama didn't want to answer the other party's question, so he was a little naughty. "Second generation? Ah. Why didn't I know that Tobirama had a half-brother?" The first generation of the Dirty Earth was shocked when he heard what Senju Tobirama said. "Idiot brother, he is clearly playing tricks on us." "Is that so?" The dissolution of the Dirty Earth bodies was quite fast. When the first generation asked these words, the two Dirty Earth bodies had already disintegrated, and their souls had returned to the underworld. Without the help of the first and second generations reincarnated from the Dirty Soil, Orochimaru was manipulated by Senju Tobirama, and the Sound Ninja and Sand Ninja could not make any waves. It can be said that Konoha village won a complete victory in this battle. Lord Orochimaru. Seeing that Orochimaru had been defeated, Taiyuya and the other four Sound Ninjas also cancelled the four purple flame formation and wanted to rescue Orochimaru. Unfortunately, their strength is simply not enough. Without letting Senju Tobirama take action, Jiraiya and Sarutobi Hiruzen on the side took care of the four little Kurami. Of course, neither Jiraiya nor Hiruzen Sarutobi were the ones to kill them. They did not kill them, but knocked them all unconscious and left them to the third Hokage to deal with in a while. "Monkey, are you okay?" At this time, the third Hokage looked quite embarrassed. He wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and replied, "It's okay, he can't die." After saying that, the third Hokage looked at Orochimaru lying on the ground with a complicated expression, being sealed by Senju Tobirama's sealing technique. Orochimaru couldn't move at all. Even if he wanted to use the Orochimaru substitute technique to escape, he couldn't. "Old man, you win this time, but I have some questions for you." Hearing this, Qian Shu Feijin said, "If you have any questions, please ask your teacher later. We don't have much time." Yes, the four Senju Tobirama who traveled through time could only stay here for an hour. While there was still some time, Tobirama also had something to ask the third Hokage. For example, when such a big thing happened in the village, why didn't Danzo see it? Could it be that he died? And what about the ninjas of the Uchiha clan? Why didn't it show up? And where is his granddaughter Tsunade, dead or alive, etc.? He had so many questions that he wanted to ask the third Hokage. Monkey. Damn monkey, what the hell did you do? That just when Senju Tobirama wanted to seize the time to ask the third Hokage, Uchiha Kagami filled with anger also came to the roof of the viewing platform. He didn't think too much, grabbed the collar of the third Hokage and asked angrily, "Why was the Uchiha clan exterminated, and what role did you play in it?" Uchiha Kage's angry question shocked Hiruzen Sarutobi and Tobirama Senju. They were originally wondering why they didn't see any ninjas from the Uchiha clan on the battlefield. Together, their entire clan was wiped out, so the question is, who has the ability to wipe out the Uchiha clan in the village? As long as you think about the logical relationship, you can understand that the third Hokage must have played a less glorious role in it. It's the mirror. It's so nice to see you again. The third Hokage did not answer Uchiha Kagami's question, but instead remembered the days when Kagami was still around. The attitude of looking away and talking about it completely angered Jing. "It's so nice to see you again. Didn't they just meet through the light curtain yesterday? You are so old, you have Alzheimer's disease, right? Damn monkey, don't think I dare not kill you." Mirror's eyes widened, changing from ordinary eyes to Mangekyō Sharingan, staring at the third Hokage. "Mirror, have you turned on the kaleidoscope?" The third Hokage seemed not to have heard Keiru's threat, and was still surprised that the opponent's Sharingan had advanced. "Damn monkey, go to hell." At first, Senju Tobirama did not have a mirror, allowing him to grab the third Hokage's collar and threaten him. After all, he also wanted to know why the old disciple in front of him wanted to destroy the Uchiha clan. Doesn't he know that the Uchiha clan's fighting power is indispensable to the village? It wasn't until Uchiha Mirror really wanted to kill the third Hokage that he took action and pulled the mirror away. "Mirror, calm down." "Yes, Mr. Jing, the old man is still seriously injured. If you have any questions, you can wait until the old man recovers from his injuries before asking." At this time, Jiraiya also stood up, standing between the mirror and the third Hokage. If Kagami breaks free from the shackles of Senju Tobirama and wants to attack the third Hokage, then the first person he has to face is Jiraiya. "We don't have much time. I believe the monkey will explain it clearly to us later. Even if he doesn't tell us, with the existence of the light curtain, we will naturally know when the time comes." Maybe Senju Tobirama's persuasion had an effect. The angry Uchiha Mirror gradually calmed down. "Okay, as I just said, we don't have much time, so I won't talk nonsense. Monkey, please abdicate. You are no longer suitable to lead the village forward." The third Hokage smiled bitterly and replied, "I understand, Tobirama-sensei, I will pass my seat to Jiraiya after I recover from my injury." This word "pass" is very essential, and Qian Shu Feijin frowned when he heard it. Isn't the position of Hokage obtained through elections? When did it become decided by the previous Hokage? He thought about it and found that it seemed to start from himself. Well, that's okay, he was fine, but Jiraiya was fine. He shook his head and waved his hands and refused. "I don't want to be Hokage. Besides, my personality is not suitable for being Hokage, and I still have to find the child of destiny. You should let Tsunade come back. She is more suitable for the position of Hokage than me." Destiny's child? Yes. Jiraiya nodded and continued. "The great toad sage of Mount Myaboku said that the son of destiny who will bring changes to the ninja world will be my disciple. This is one of the reasons why I have not returned to the village for many years. As for the other reasons for not returning to the village, I understand them all. So, Jiraiya, you want to be a rebel nin, Jiraiya? Chapter 46 The Fifth Hokage, Jiraiya, please follow up. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The Toad Immortal of Miyamu Mountain and Senju Tobirama are also aware of its existence. During the years when the Senju clan was fighting against the Uchiha clan, MaleProtagonist sent a toad to find their Hashirado brothers, hoping that they would write down their names on MaleProtagonist's psychic scroll. Faced with the toads that suddenly came to his door, Tobirama would not let them become his and his elder brother's psychic beasts before he found out the details, so during the investigation, he learned something about the Great Toad Immortal. I learned that this toad has the ability to predict the future. To be honest, Tobirama at that time was very disgusted with abilities such as divination, fate, and prophecy. Anyway, fate has arranged everything, and the prophecy accurately predicted their success, so do they still need to work hard? Just lie down. However, Senju Tobirama does not have such a character. He does not believe in any prophecies. He only believes that man can conquer nature. Now seeing Jiraiya believing in that big toad so firmly, Tobirama was quite unhappy. Jiraiya, do you want to be a rebel nin? What? Second generation sir, please stop joking. Obviously, Tobirama's words frightened Jiraiya. Not only Jiraiya, but even the third Hokage also said, Teacher, did you make a mistake? How could Jiraiya want to be a rebel ninja? Tobirama looked at the third Hokage and said, does Jiraiya often not return to the village? Nor does he perform tasks in the village. The third Hokage was stunned for a moment when he heard this, and then nodded with difficulty and replied, that's it. A ninja who often does not return to the village or perform tasks in the village. Do you dare to say that such a person is not a traitor? Looking at the strong Tobirama, neither the third Hokage nor Jiraiya could say anything. If you really have to strictly follow the rules of the village, Jiraiya's behavior can indeed be regarded as treason. Yes, Jiraiya can definitely be considered a traitorous ninja. Orochimaru, who was lying on the ground, laughed out loud when he saw Jiraiya's face hurt. Adhering to the principle that watching the excitement is not too big a deal, Orochimaru confirmed Tobirama's statement. Orochimaru, shut up. Jiraiya was already annoyed, but Orochimaru took the opportunity to cause trouble for him. At this moment, he wished he could give Orochimaru a big mouth and let him know what he could say and what he couldn't say. Second generation master, why don't you let Tsunade come back as the fifth Hokage? She is more suitable than me. Tsunade, seeing Tobirama's thoughtful look, Jiraiya struck while the iron was hot and continued, yes, no matter in terms of her background, strength and personality, she is the most suitable one. After hearing what Jiraiya said, Tobirama really felt that Tsunade was also a good candidate. It's just that he understands his granddaughter. She would not have left the village unless something particularly disappointing happened to her. It's not that difficult to get her to come back and become Hokage. Moreover, he also knew that his granddaughter had the same hobbies as his elder brother. I won't ask how difficult it is to find Tsunade back. I'll just ask, are you ready for her to export the village? That's right, Tsunade's hobby is gambling, and she always loses every 10 times she bets. Except when she beat her elder brother Senju Hashirama when she was a child, he has never seen Tsunade win again. After thinking about it for a while, Tobirama decided that it would be better not to take such a big risk. Monkey, you don't want the village to lose to Tsunade. It's decided, let Jiraiya become the fifth Hokage. That's Tsunade. Ignore her. Having made a decision, Tobirama looked at Jiraiya again and said sternly, if you dare to run, turn around and I will ask the monkey to announce that you have become a rebel ninja of Konoha. Don't you want to find some Destiny child outside? Then you just don't go back to the village. But second generation sir, Destiny child is really very important. It's so important. Tobirama didn't give Jiraiya any face, and angrily said, what qualifications does that big toad have to ask me, the ninja of Konoha village, to help him find the child of destiny? Let me ask you, is it the illusory child of destiny that is more important, or the child of destiny? Is the village important? This. Jiraiya was in trouble. because he felt that it was impossible for the great Toad Immortal to lie to him. It said that this child of destiny would bring changes to the ninja world, and it would definitely be what it said. As for Jiraiya, he needed to find this person as soon as possible and guide him to grow in a good way. Compared with the safety of the entire ninja world, matters in the village must be put aside naturally. Of course, he would not dare to say this in front of the second Hokage, otherwise he would have to get a beating. Believe me, Jiraiya. Instead of searching aimlessly, it's better to stay in the village. Maybe the child of destiny you are looking for will appear on his own. How can this be? Jiraiya didn't quite believe what Tobirama said. The child of destiny he had been searching so hard for so many years hadn't been found, so how could he suddenly appear? You can ask your teacher for details. After saying that, Tobirama turned to look at the third Hokage and continued, you should understand what I mean. The third Hokage nodded, I understand. After hearing the conversation between the two, Orochimaru, who was lying on the ground, had an idea. He remembered the light curtain in Tobirama just now. Could it be that this light curtain not only allows them to appear here, but also helps find people? Orochimaru was already full of interest in this so-called light curtain. If he hadn't been sealed and couldn't move, he would have flicked his tongue up and down. At this moment, a soft light curtain emitted from the bodies of Tobirama, Hiruzen, and Kagami. Tobirama knew that this was their time. Okay, it's time for us to go back. Remember the monkey. If Jiraiya dares to run away, let him become a traitorous ninja. For the sake of the village, this is not the time to be soft-hearted. After saying these words, Tobirama, Hiruzen, and Kagami disappeared from the eyes of the third Hokage and others. Old man, what on earth is going on? That without Tobirama's presence, Jiraiya breathed a sigh of relief and his tone became casual. I will tell you when you officially become the fifth Hokage. All right. The deal was done, so Jiraiya had no choice but to agree. He knew the third Hokage, and if he really dared to run away and become the fifth Hokage, then the old man really dared to label him as a traitor. With the second Hokage behind him, he can really do it. What about Orochimaru? How are you going to deal with it? Orochimaru. Looking at Orochimaru with a complicated expression, the third Hokage sighed and said, let's put him in prison first. Orochimaru didn't care about the punishment he would receive next. With the old man and idiot Jiraiya here, he wouldn't die no matter what. Even if he dies, he will be resurrected. Orochimaru, you won't run away, right? The three people present knew that Orochimaru could not be trapped in the village's prison. Don't worry, I won't run away. Just kidding, he won't run until he figures out what the light curtain is. Okay Jiraiya, send Orochimaru and these people to prison. What about you, old man? Me? Of course I'm going home to rest and recuperate. Okay, then you go back and rest first. Neither of them were worried about the situation of the battle at this time, because the Konoha ninja had been suppressing the sound ninja and sand ninja in the fight. I believe that in a little while, this war will be completely over, and Jiraiya's Hokage career is about to begin. Jiraiya, I really don't want to be Hokage. Chapter 47 The Thoughts of the Mirror, please read. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When Senju Tobirama and others successfully returned to the office, exactly 1 hour had passed. For this 1 hour experience, Tobirama felt that it was not perfect. At least he and Orochimaru didn't exchange a few words, nor did I meet my granddaughter 40 years later. Fortunately, the third Hokage's life was saved, and Jiraiya, one of the three ninjas, was appointed as the fifth Hokage. Although it is not very satisfactory, overall, he is quite satisfied. Sarutobi Hiruzen and Senju Tobirama had similar thoughts. A mere hour was not enough for him to completely browse Konoha. In addition, there were foreign enemies, so he only looked at a small area of Konoha. It has to be said that the life of the residents of Konoha 40 years later is very good. The skin of those ladies is really white, which makes him satisfied. Danzo Shimura's words could not be discerned from the expressionless look on his face. This guy didn't know where he went after he passed by, and he wasn't even seen on the rooftop. I just have a vague feeling that he seems a little dissatisfied. Speaking of dissatisfaction, Uchiha Kagami is the most dissatisfied and even the most angry among the four. The Uchiha clan is just gone, not even with the support of the village, which made him not angry, if Senju Tobirama and Jiraiya hadn't stopped him at that time, otherwise he would have beaten the third Hokage hard no matter what. Mirror, don't let anger erode your heart, the Uchiha clan still needs you. Tobirama is indeed the person who knows the Uchiha clan best. He calmed down Kagami with just one sentence. The teacher is right. From the words of the third Hokage, Jing knew that he probably died very young. After his death, the family no longer had him to deal with, and the third Hokage did not learn the essence of teacher Tobirama's management of the village. This led to more and more people in the family becoming dissatisfied with the village, leading to the village's eventual destruction. It's different here, teacher Tobirama is not dead, and neither is he. If the idiot like the third Hokage cannot rise to power, and the family has its own existence here, then the Uchiha clan will definitely not suffer the fate of annihilation like that over there. In order not to follow the old path over there, he might have to act tougher when facing some radicals in the family. With the existence of the Mangekyō Sharingan, he is now the strongest person in the clan. Once someone dares to explode, kill them directly. Teacher, you are back. Xiaochun and the other three who were sleeping outside the door heard the voices in the office and quickly opened the door. Well, thank you for your hard work. It's just a visit, nothing hard. The three of them entered the office, and Akimichi Tifeng noticed that something seemed wrong in the atmosphere. However, he didn't ask too much, but stood quietly aside, not even taking out the potato chips to eat. Okay, just go and do whatever you need to do, I have to take care of official business. Is teacher. Okay teacher, we will leave now. 5 of the 6 disciples left, leaving only Uchiha Mirror. Mirror, do you have anything else to do? Yes, teacher, after I advanced to the Mangekyō Sharingan, I gained 2 exclusive eye techniques. Hearing this, Tobirama waved his hand to stop Kagami from continuing. Mirror, this is your exclusive pupil technique. If you tell me, it's not very good, okay. Tobirama did think so. If he really wanted to know what Mirror's Kaleidoscope eye technique was, he wouldn't have let him leave, but would have asked directly. Even a husband and wife will have their own privacy, let alone a master and a disciple, Kagami confessed to him, and Tobirama was very satisfied with this attitude. However, there was really no need to tell him about powerful ninjutsu such as secret techniques and blood succession. Jing understood what Tobirama meant, but he also had his own ideas. He knew the members of the Anar, Deer, and Butterfly clans and what it meant for him and Hiruzen to be sent as bodyguards. With the help of Tamamo, the pupil technique, he would definitely be able to get twice the result with half the effort. Teacher, the Kaleidoscope eye technique awakened in my left eye is called Tamamo. It can change a person's will and feelings, make men become my good friends, and make women fall in love with me. That's it. Then what do you think? I'm thinking about using it on the daimyo in a month. In this way, I will become a good friend of the daimyo, and it will be of great help to your plan, teacher. Tobirama pondered for a long time without speaking. The method of mirror theory was indeed very tempting to him. With the full cooperation of the daimyo, the members of the 3 Agashikage families can learn faster and save a lot of time, but in the end, he shook his head and rejected Jing's idea. First of all, Kaleidoscope's pupil technique is not foolproof. The ninja world is so big and there are so many masters, and there is no telling when someone will notice that the daimyos will has been modified. Furthermore, politicians like daimyo don't have any close friends. He regards you as a friend just because his interests have not been infringed upon. Once his own interests are damaged, this kind of person can sell you out in minutes, friend. Isn't it just for selling? This is also the shortcoming of Tamamo's pupil technique. Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama, aren't they good friends? But for the village and for their ideals, didn't the two eventually break out into a life-and-death battle? Tamamo's eye technique is very strong, but it's not so strong that it can't be solved. Secondly, the relationship between Senju Tobirama and the daimyo is not bad. After all, Tsunade calls each other grandpa, and they are related by in-laws. Tobirama couldn't think of using such despicable means to deal with his in-laws. Mirror, the power of the kaleidoscope is very strong, but you also have to understand one thing. You have to control this power, not become a slave of it. Tobirama could tell that something was wrong with Kagami's current state. in the past, Jing would not use this method of controlling others to achieve his own goals. One can imagine how much the Uchiha clan was annihilated stimulated him. I understand, teacher. Time passed quickly, and it was afternoon. In a blink of an eye, Senju Tobirama finally met Orochimaru, the boy he had longed for in his office. I've met the second Hokage. As a boy, Orochimaru was still very polite and bowed to say hello when he saw Tobirama. Hello Orochimaru, come here, this is a greeting gift for you. With that said, Tobirama took out a scroll from the drawer and handed it to Orochimaru. Orochimaru looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen. Take it, this is the wishes of Lord Hokage. After hearing what Sarutobi Hiruzen said, Orochimaru accepted the gift. Seeing that Orochimaru had no intention of opening the scroll on the spot, Hiruzen turned to Tobirama and asked, Teacher, what did you give Orochimaru? Want to know? Open it and see for yourself. This is not good. Oh, I don't know you yet. Sarutobi Hiruzen chuckled, lowered his head and said to Orochimaru, why don't you open it and take a look to satisfy your teachers and my curiosity? Orochimaru nodded obediently and opened the scroll in his hand. Looking at what was written on the scroll, Orochimaru and Sarutobi Hiruzen's eyes widened at the same time. This is... Don't make such a fussed expression. It's just some experimental data on ninjutsu. That's right, Tobirama's gift to Orochimaru was just some data when he was creating ninjutsu, especially forbidden jutsu. Thank you Hokage-sama for the gift, I like it very much. Orochimaru, who already had a goal in life, was very happy and hugged the scroll tightly as if he had found a treasure, for fear that someone would snatch it from him. This gesture made Tobirama very satisfied. Chapter 48 The third extra video. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After handing the scroll to Orochimaru, Tobirama chatted with him for a while, and then let Hiruzen take him away, because Kagami wanted to help Tobirama find the secret technique that allowed Madara to cheat his death. Hiruzen went to the capital the first day. The next day, 3 days after Hiruzen left the village, Kagami finally found a secret technique called Izanagi in an ancient book. This secret technique is one of the ultimate techniques unique to the Uchiha clan. When activated, you can change things that are not good for you within a period of time into never happening, and you can also choose only things that are good for you to turn into reality. After this technique is activated, one Sharingan will become blind. After hearing Kagami's description of Izanagi, Tobirama pieced together all the details of Madara's death. What on earth is this guy Madara going to do? After learning that Madara Uchiha had committed suicide, Tobirama had been thinking about what this guy was going to do. When he returned to the village from outside, he got into a fight with his elder brother for no apparent reason, and then died in his hands. With Izanagi's presence, he is naturally not dead, so why is he fighting this fight? Want to prove that he is better than his elder brother? Thinking of this, Tobirama shook his head. In his opinion, Madara is not such a superficial person. The reason why he came back must have his own purpose, so, his purpose is to fight with his elder brother? There are still too few clues. Tobirama felt a little headache thinking about it. No matter how smart he is, he can't deduce Madara's ultimate purpose through such clues. Fortunately, I have a light curtain. Through the light curtain, I will definitely know what Madara wants to do. Tobirama was not in a hurry. If Madara Uchiha is not dead, then he is not dead. He hasn't appeared in the ninja world for so many years, so I might as well just treat him as dead and don't have to go to all the trouble to find him. What are you looking for? Let him come back as the third Hokage. The days after that were uneventful. Tobirama would take some time to chat with Orochimaru every day and answer his questions. Of course, during the days when Hiruzen is not in the village, he will still be responsible for teaching Tsunade and Jiraiya, especially Jiraiya. After coming into contact with Jiraiya 40 years later, Tobirama is also trying his best to correct his naive side. To prevent him from being sold by that big toad later, he would have to count the money for the other party. In this way, the time quickly came for Lin Tian to post the extra video. In the evening, Tobirama's office welcomed a new audience, that is Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Orochimaru. Hiruzen and Kagami didn't come back. After all, it was just a side video, and it wasn't worth asking the daimyo for leave. Waiting for the official inventory video in half a month, it will not be too late for them to take leave and come back. At that time, they can know the content of this extra video from their friends. Second Grandpa, why did you ask us to come here? Tsunade has a very lively personality, and everyone in the office is acquaintance, so she doesn't feel restrained at all. You'll find out soon. TCH mysterious. Tsunade didn't get Tobirama's answer and sat down angrily. Orochimaru, do you know what the second grandfather asked us to do? Orochimaru shook his head. He also didn't know why the second Hokage called them over, however, he saw Koharu and others sleeping here, and knew that there must be something big going on, otherwise it would be impossible for several disciples of the second Hokage to appear here at the same time. Tsunade, you should be quiet. Didn't you see that the seniors didn't say anything? Jiraiya, do you dare to control me? I think you are itchy. Jiraiya shrank his head, he was still very afraid of Tsunade's fist, it's just that it's not Jiraiya's style to just back off like this. He still said stubbornly, violent woman, let's see how you can get married in the future. Jiraiya. When Tsunade heard this, she turned around and yelled at him. At the same time, she grabbed Jiraiya's collar, apparently wanting to punch him. By chance, when Tsunade wanted to beat up Jiraiya, the time came to 8 o'clock, a light curtain emitting soft white light appeared on the desk on time. Second Grandpa, what is this? The appearance of the light curtain attracted the attention of everyone present. Tsunade, who was in the last row, didn't care about Jiraiya's offense and stared straight at the light screen. Let's take a look first. We'll discuss the light curtain issue later. The same problem also occurred in Konoha 61, in the office of the third Hokage. Now it is a bit inaccurate to say that the third Hokage was in the office of Jiraiya, the fifth Hokage. Don't you want to know what the light curtain is? You'll understand after you finish reading it. In the office, in addition to the third Hokage and the fifth Jiraiya, Orochimaru was also among them. That's right, Orochimaru is no longer the rebellious ninja of Konoha, just kidding, the previous Hokage was his teacher, and the current Hokage is his good friend. Who is not afraid of death and dares to stand up and call him a traitor. In addition, when Itachi and Kisame came to the village, he also played a role in repelling them, so no one dared to question his identity. The treatment of Taiyuya, Kadamaru, Sakan Yukon, and Jirobo was also much better. Of course, Orochimaru can't appear in the village openly yet, after all, people's words are scary, and those villagers with poor brains don't care so much. They only know that Orochimaru attracted the Sound Ninja and Sand Ninja and launched an attack on the village. In order to allow Orochimaru to walk in the village normally, Jiraiya had the idea of merging the Sound Ninja village into Konoha. Once successful, Orochimaru will be a ninja sent out by Konoha to perform S-class secret missions, not a traitorous ninja. He can then roam around the village openly. At the same time, Konoha's strength will be greatly enhanced by merging the Sound Ninja village. If nothing else, Yakushi Kabuto is a rare medical talent, without Tsunade returning to the village. The addition of Kabuto Yakushi can greatly enhance the village's medical technology. With Konoha's resources, Kimimaro might even be able to survive for a few more years. Hi, I am the new member of a Tian. Today's video is a bonus episode. In addition to our grand second Hokage Tobirama, Master Tobirama once again sent gifts. This time there were also new viewers who also sent gifts. Let's see, which master is the rewarder. On the screen, Lin Tian picked up a small package. When he saw that the sender was the third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, his expression was very strange. Well, you have also seen the signature of this gentleman, the third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen. Should I receive it next time, a gift signed by the fourth Hokage Namikaze Minato? Just kidding. Thank you Mr. Hiruzen for the pipe, even though I don't smoke. Okay, without further ado, Mr. Tobirama has a new problem this time. Let's take a look at what it is. This time it is still written in neon text, but I have translated it. The rough meaning is, how to solve the problem of compatibility between soul and body. Well, what I want to say is that this seems to be a problem that Orochimaru wants to solve. The side effects of his corpse transformation are not ordinary. Second Hokage-sama, you seem to be tampering with me. At this time, after seeing the second generation Senju Tobirama's question and Lin Tian saying the words turn around without corpse, Orochimaru's long tongue was frantically licking the corners of his mouth. This fully shows how excited he is at this time. MD Orochimaru, you are so disgusting, stay away from me. Orochimaru, I won't, just slightly, slightly, slightly. Chapter 49 Cloning. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. We all know that Orochimaru's corpse reincarnation is not perfect, and his soul will be damaged every time he reincarnates. Why is this so? It's not because of the mismatch between the body and the soul that the soul is hurt. So the question is, how can you get a body that perfectly matches your own soul? Seeing this, Konoha's 21st-year Senju Tobirama and Konoha's 61st-year Orochimaru suddenly became attentive. Lin Tian in the picture didn't show off and said directly, I think we can try cloning technology. What is cloning? Cloning refers to the asexual reproduction of organisms through somatic cells, and the offspring individuals with identical genotypes formed by asexual reproduction. Because the genes are exactly the same as mine, I think it shouldn't reject my soul, right? Of course, in modern society, it is illegal to use cloning technology. But in the ninja world, a world where humans are worse than dogs and the laws are not yet complete, there are not so many restrictions. In fact, during Boruto, Orochimaru used his own genes and some other excellent genes to create Mitsuki. At this time, the picture of Seiue was displayed on the screen at the right time. Jiraiya the fifth generation, with his pale skin and amber eyes, this person is just like you, Orochimaru. Orochimaru ignored Jiraiya's complaints, but looked thoughtful, since the person on the light screen said that he would successfully create this child during that Boruto period. Although he did not know the specific time, he felt that with his current ability, he was sure to use his own cells to create it. Create a body that perfectly fits your soul. The many experiments done using Hashirama cells were not in vain. Senju Tobirama also thought of this, since Orochimaru 40 years later can use his elder brother's cells to create a Yamato, so using one's own cells to create another self should be no problem, right? It seems like I have to go there once a month. Of course, Senju Tobirama will not place all its hope on Orochimaru 40 years later. His research ability is also very strong. With the direction given by Lin Tian this time, he believed that as long as he had enough time, he could also create himself. Just to save time, both parties can benefit from each other. It would be terrible if it actually worked. Yes, Senju Tobirama has already foreseen the scene of Konoha's powerful ninja being immortal. In a way, it's really scary. Satsuki was originally created as a container for Orochimaru. But after getting along for a period of time, Orochimaru developed feelings for the child, and gradually treated him as a normal person. And in order to let him make friends and let him live a life different from his own, he also put Mitsuki in the Konoha Ninja School. After graduating from the ninja school, he became a member of the same class with Boruto Uzumaki and Sarada Uchiha, and his mentor was Konohamaru Sarutobi. This is the protagonist team. The former is the son of Uzumaki Naruto, the latter is the daughter of Uchiha Sasuke, and Sarutobi Konohamaru is the grandson of the third Hokage and Naruto's younger brother. Mitsuki has the weakest background in this team. The son of Orochimaru, one of the three ninjas, really has no cards at all. Ah ha ha ha, Orochimaru, this person said you have no cards. The fifth generation Jiraiya slapped Orochimaru on the back and laughed wildly. Idiot. Orochimaru didn't take it seriously and said sarcastically, don't forget, he is talking about Orochimaru, one of the three ninjas. Aren't you one of the three ninjas? I don't have any cards. Do you have good cards? Well. Jiraiya's smile stopped abruptly. It's true to think about what Orochimaru said, this made him feel very uncomfortable. Uzumaki Naruto. Ha, isn't he the nine-tailed brat I took as my disciple some time ago? Also, who is this Uchiha Sasuke? Sarutobi Konohamaru. Jiraiya knew that after all Atendo said he was the grandson of the third Hokage, he also knew that Uzumaki Naruto was the disciple that the old man asked him to accept after he returned to the village. However, he did not know Naruto's past and life experience, and only guessed it from his surname. As for Uchiha Sasuke, Jiraiya had no idea at all. At this time, the third Hokage looked at Jiraiya with a slightly complicated expression and said, taking this opportunity, I will tell you Naruto's life experience. In fact, Naruto is the son of Minato and Kushina, and Sasuke is the son of Fugaku and Mikoto. He also has an older brother named Uchiha Itachi. He is Minato and Kushina's son. Jiraiya's expression was melancholy and embarrassed. As the son of his proud disciple, he had never even met him. The reason why Uzumaki Naruto was accepted at that time was also because of the old man's request and the identity of the nine-tailed Jinchuriki, even though Naruto's name was the same as the name of the protagonist in a novel he wrote many years ago. He never thought about his identity as a fourth-generation orphan. At this moment, he understood a little bit that the second generation couldn't stand his behavior and insisted on him becoming the fifth-generation Hokage. This is a responsibility, and it is not something he can escape if he wants to. But, isn't this relationship a bit messy? Naruto is his disciple, and his father Minato is also his disciple. What should he call Minato when he sees him in the future? Call him dad? Or call him senior brother? The more he thought about it, the more speechless he became, so Jiraiya had to change the subject. Old man, was Naruto's childhood okay? Originally, Jiraiya thought that Naruto had the identity of the fourth-generation orphan, and he was the nine-tails Jinchuriki, so his life must not be too bad. Unexpectedly, the real situation was very different from what he thought. Well, now it was the turn of the third Hokage to be embarrassed. He knew very well whether Naruto had a good childhood. He wanted to go out to buy things, but others would not sell them. He wanted to play with other children, but others would not play with him. He didn't eat well, and he didn't wear good clothes. The reason for this situation was that Danzo spread rumors in the village that Naruto was a demon fox, and wanted to take Naruto into the root and make him a killing machine of the root. That's right, this is all Danzo's fault, and it has nothing to do with me, the third Hokage. Okay. Seeing the embarrassed expression on the third Hokage's face, Jiraiya didn't ask any more questions. He already knew the answer from the other party's expression, and further questioning would only hurt the feelings of both parties. Compared to Jiraiya's concern for Naruto, Orochimaru cares more about Sasuke. After all, during the Chunin exam, he planted a Heaven's Curse seal on Sasuke, wanting to use his body as a container for the next reincarnation. Now looking at what was said on the light curtain, not only did he fail, but Sasuke's status in Konoha village was higher than his later. This is very interesting. Just a small Uchiha orphan, but his status in the end was higher than his. Orochimaru was very interested in exploring the truth contained in it. He decided that after the merger of Otogekyure and Konoha, when he could appear in the village with the light curtain, he would take Sasuke as his disciple and bring him with him. Orochimaru, who had been pointed out a clear way by Lin Tian, was no longer interested in Sasuke's body. He wants to witness the other person's growth step by step, and see how he can surpass himself. Okay, this episode's extra video is like this. Don't think this episode's video is watery. Actually, it's really watery. But I have no choice. I don't understand high-end technology like cloning. Instead of talking nonsense to waste time, it's better to answer Mr. Tobirama's questions and leave. That's it for this episode. I'm the new Uppa. See you in the next episode. Thanks to the reader, King Chamoment, for the 300 coins reward. Thank you. Chapter 50 The Influence of Extra Videos. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Although this extra video is very short, it has a huge impact. With Orochimaru's full cooperation, the merger of Konoha village and Otogekyure village went smoothly. With the support of the fifth-generation Jiraiya and the third-generation Hokage, opponents like Danzo could not make any waves and were suppressed by the two Hokages. The fifth-generation Jiraiya is not the third-generation Hokage, and he does not have the slightest fondness for Danzo. This is not the past. In the past, the fifth-generation Jiraiya had nothing to do against Danzo. After all, this guy was protected by the third-generation Hokage. It's different now. He is the fifth Hokage. In terms of status, Danzo is his subordinate. Emotionally speaking, the third Hokage who had stepped down could no longer protect him. Otherwise, if Jiraiya files a complaint to the second Hokage Senju Tobirama, the third Hokage will be left with nothing to eat. So, this thing went very smoothly. when the 5th generation Jiraiya and the 3rd generation Hokage were at the Hokage station. In front of many ninjas and villagers, it was explained that Orochimaru's defection was actually performing a hidden mission for the village. The mission was completed and returned successfully, and the identity of the traitorous ninja was completely cleared. Ordinary villagers don't know so much. They have little knowledge and little wisdom, and they only follow what others say. Seeing that both Hokages were supporting Orochimaru, it was natural that they would do whatever they said. Besides, the return of Orochimaru, one of the 3 ninjas, is a good thing anyway. As for him leading the Suna ninja to attack Konoha, it was probably because the village knew about the Suna ninja's wolfish ambitions and deliberately asked Orochimaru to lure him. Didn't you see that the village suffered no losses at all this time? At most, some houses, fields and other real estate were damaged, but not even a single resident died. At first glance, you can tell that the village has a premeditated plan, otherwise, no one would die in a war. Am I right? The villagers are easy to fool, but the ninjas, especially the Jonin, are not easy to fool, especially Kakashi and Mitarashi Anko, who know some inside information. They didn't believe that Orochimaru was performing a mission outside the village. It's just that the arm can't twist the thigh. The 5th generation Jiraiya and the 3rd generation Hokage are all supporting Orochimaru. In addition, the village did not suffer much loss in the defense battle. There are also Yakushi Kabuto, Kimimaro, Uzumaki Kaso, Yugo, and Oni Densui. Yu, Honglien and other talents joined the village. It's really hard for them to have any objections. Even Anko, who hated Orochimaru the most, did not jump out to cause trouble, but looked at Orochimaru with a complicated expression. After this incident, Orochimaru could finally walk in Konoha village with dignity. People who know him will also salute and say hello to him. Orochimaru had not felt this feeling for a long time. Sasuke-kun, long time no see. In the evening of that day, Orochimaru met Sasuke on his way home. It's you, Orochimaru. Seeing Orochimaru, Sasuke did not relax his vigilance because of the village's whitewashing of him. He also quietly observed his surroundings, ready to run away at any time. Sasuke-kun, don't be so vigilant. I didn't mean to hurt you this time. Say your purpose. Sasuke did not put down the kunai, but still looked at the other party solemnly. I just want to ask you, do you want to be my disciple? Ha! A big question mark popped up on his little head. Sasuke never expected that Orochimaru would want to accept him as his disciple. He didn't believe in such a good thing as pie in the sky, and continued to ask, what is your purpose? Orochimaru licked his lips and said, there are some reasons I can't tell you, but I sincerely want to accept you as a disciple, and I don't have any bad thoughts, but I need to think about it. No problem, you have enough time to consider this matter. If you have considered it, you can come to me at the XX laboratory in the east of the village. Okay. Then it's settled. Orochimaru dived underground and left, leaving behind a frowning Sasuke. He didn't know what went crazy with Orochimaru, he only knew that this was an opportunity to become stronger. When chasing Gaara, Sasuke relied on Chidori's thunder escape ninjutsu to injure Gaara, causing the opponent to transform into a tailed beast. After transforming into a tailed beast, Gaara was no longer something Sasuke could handle. On the one hand, his chakra has bottomed out and he can no longer use powerful ninjutsu. On the other hand, he also lacks the strength to deal with larger enemies. In this case, Naruto, who had always been regarded as the last straw by him, summoned Bunta, the toad boss who was the same size as Shikaku, defeated Gaara and saved him and Sakura. He was grateful to Naruto, but also hated himself for being weak. He was so weak that even Naruto couldn't compare to him. So how could he kill Uchiha Itachi? When I think about Uchiha Itachi appearing in the village some time ago, if Orochimaru and Jiraiya hadn't arrived, he would have been killed by this guy named Brother, who was actually a beast. He never wanted to experience that feeling of powerlessness again. Becoming Orochimaru's disciple. It's not impossible. At this moment, Sasuke had already made his decision. He has already learned Kakashi's signature ninjutsu Chidori, and he can't learn anything from following Kakashi anymore. He might as well give it a try and choose to believe in Orochimaru. Presumably, Orochimaru, one of the 3 ninjas, would not let him down. Senju Tobirama was very busy. After learning about the cloning method, he dived into the laboratory and started experiments. Don't get me wrong, Tobirama is not that eager for quick success and started experimenting with human subjects. He first used a white mouse specially used for experiments. In only 5 days, he successfully cloned a white mouse embryo. When the mouse is completely fine, he will clone other animals, such as puppies and kittens. He will only choose to clone humans when he thinks the technology is mature. Compared to the grown-up Orochimaru, he still has some bottom lines in doing things. In order to prevent Koshimaru from becoming a person with no bottom line, he always takes Koshimaru with him to teach him. Even when doing experiments, he did not shy away from it at all, but took the opportunity to guide him correctly. Hokage-sama, do you want eternal life? After watching the light screen once and seeing Tobirama successfully clone a white mouse, Koshimaru couldn't help but ask what was on his mind. Eternal life? Tobirama shook his head. To be honest, I don't want eternal life. Then what are you doing? Koshimaru was a little confused. Isn't the purpose of studying cloning technology to clone a body with its own genes so that it can be reincarnated into this body and achieve the goal of immortality? If I say that the reason why I study cloning is to protect Konoha, would you believe it? I believe everything you say, Hokage-sama. Huh, good boy. Touching Koshimaru's head, Tobirama smiled happily. To make it easier to differentiate between boy and adult Orochimaru in the future, the boy Orochimaru changed his name to Orochimaru. Same goes for Tsunade, little Tsunade and Tsunade, Jiraiya the younger and Jiraiya the 5th generation.